Right now, Battlefield 6 has more hidden settings than EA has excuses, and if you copy mine exactly, you'll be at least 10 times better, and yes, that's a real guarantee. Unless you're still trying quickscope tanks, then you're on your own. Alright, let's get straight into it. These are the best Battlefield 6 settings you can use right now in the beta. Whether you're on a PC or console, low end or high end, we're going through everything. Accessibility, gameplay, controller, graphics, camera, HUD. I'll be showing you some of the most mental hidden settings in the game. Trust me, you'll see what I mean. If you want to skip ahead, timestamps are in the description, but you'll miss some absolute gems along the way. So if we go into settings and we go to accessibility, first thing I change is the graphics color presets. Change this to custom, go to color profiles and modify. Now the three color profiles that I change: friendly color, squad color, and enemy color. I like to make them more vibrant by moving the color picker arrow to the top right. By default, they're pale and washed out and are much harder to see. For squad color, I'll use my big J Raider neon green. And for the enemy color, you could use a more vibrant red, but I like to do a trick that I learned in Call of Duty. Hot pink, it stands out way more than red. Nothing else in game is that color, and it pops against every background. Now if we jump back to the accessibility tab, go to controls, hold, toggle. And the only settings I change here are interact and reload. Set this to prioritize interact. With this setting, tapping the button interacts instantly while holding it reloads. It's faster, cleaner, and stops you messing up key players. The other setting I change is mount breakout. Change this to instant to break out a mount quicker. Back out of controls, head down to controller and turn controller vibration to off. Now if you're on PlayStation controller, you might enjoy the more immersive vibration and adaptive trigger effects. If that's your thing, leave it on, but I don't need the distractions, and I've done this in every shooter I've ever played. Then scroll down to tutorials and hints. If you're brand new to the beta, you might want to leave them on. If you're feeling confident, switch them all off and free up your screen. Now head over to the gameplay tab, scroll down to infantry and set infantry aim sensitivity to 40. This is essentially the overall aim sensitivity of your thumbsticks in Battlefield 6. It's the main setting you'll tweak if you want your aim to feel faster or slower. There's some hidden settings we'll be changing later that tie into this, but for now, just know this is the meat and potatoes of your controller aim feel. While we're here, go down to vehicle aim sensitivity and set that to 40 as well. This keeps aiming consistent whether you're on foot or in a vehicle. Next up, the ever-confusing controller tab. First thing, change almost every button preset to alternate. Go to Edit Settings, Buttons, Alternate. Do this for Soldier, Vehicle, Aircraft, Gunner, Helicopter, but leave Transport alone. It's already fine as it is. For Soldier, Crouch, Prone and Slide move to R3, right stick click, and Melee moves to Circle. This is the same setup top FPS players have been using for years. It keeps your thumb on the aim stick where it belongs. Melee is rare, crouch and slide are more constant, so give them the prime real estate. If you've got back paddles, you can map slide to there, but I still prefer alternate. For vehicles, acceleration and brake go to L2 and R2, exactly how your brain expects from a racing game or every other shooter. By default, it's forwards or backwards on the left stick, which feels really strange. For aircraft, L2's throttle down, R2's throttle up. For gunner, L2 zoom in, R2 fire. For helicopter, L2 down, R2 up. For transport, already L2, R2 on default. Don't touch it. If you do prefer accelerating with the left stick, you can, but you are weird. Next, we're going into the most hidden settings in the game, the ones that will make the biggest difference for controller players. Head back into controller, go to Edit Settings, then Controller Settings, and click Modify. This is where the real magic happens. First up is infantry aim sensitivity, and this is the one I told you earlier is to set to 40. Make sure you try it there, then adjust if you need to. Just remember, every time you change your FOV, your sensitivity is going to feel different, so don't change both at the same time. Pick a field of view that you like. If you're going to copy mine, then go with 110, and then just adjust the sensitivity afterwards. Now we've got another really important one. It's the uniform infantry aiming. Make sure you turn this on. On PC with mouse and keyboard, the zoom sensitivity coefficient is set to 0. Out of the box, on controller, it defaults to 133. But if you're on a 16:9 display, which is basically every monitor and TV unless you're on ultra-wide, you need this set to 178. This is a non-negotiable. At 178, your hip fire and your ADS will feel identical. It's true one-to-one input. What you do with your thumbstick is exactly what you see on the screen. Trust me, if you don't use 178, it will feel wrong. Leave the next three at 100, then set your soldier aim input curve to BF1, BF4. Scroll down to stick input acceleration presets and also set that to BF1. So as a reminder, back at the top, if you ever want to fine-tune how snappy or sluggish the game feels, this is where you tweak it. The lower the sensitivity number, the more sensitive and snappy your aim feels. The higher the number, the slower it becomes. But if we go down to the bottom, you'll see aim, left, right, acceleration. This decides how quickly you ramp up to full speed. I have mine set to 70, and at 0, there would be no ramp. It's instant, twitchy movement. At 100, it feels like you're stuck in the mud. Around 60 to 70 is the sweet spot, and I personally prefer 70. Moving on, if we go down to the zoom section, here's another non-negotiable. Vertical aim ratio, set this to 56. At default, it's set to 40, which is wrong. On a 16:9 display, 56 is mathematically correct. I've run the numbers, I've used calculators, cross-check guides, this is the value. What it does is perfectly balance your vertical and horizontal aim inputs so that you're not fighting the stick when you move diagonally. Next is infantry zoom aim sensitivity. This one is personal preference, but I play on 85. What it does is slow down your aim while you ADS, so you've got more fine control. Some players like it lower, some people might even like it higher for more snap. Play around with it, but my personal preference is 85. Put all of this together and you'll notice a night and day difference. If you need to adjust overall sensitivity, change it at the top, then use infantry zoom sensitivity to fine-tune the ADS control. I would say don't mess around with the acceleration beyond what I've given. This setup will already make you a completely different player. And now, you guessed it, more hidden settings. This could be the most important part of the controller tuning yet. Scroll all the way down and click modify. Now on the left stick, we're going to change the center dead zone to 2. We're going to change the axial dead zone to 6, and we're going to change the max input threshold to 80. Center dead zone at 2 gives instant responsiveness without introducing drift. Axial at 6 is slightly higher, which keeps input smooth and avoids false signals. And lowering the max input threshold from 100 to 80 means you only need to push the stick 80% of the way to get full range of motion. The extra responsiveness makes a massive difference when strafing or sprinting. If you've got stick drift, raise the center dead zone slightly. If you've got a top-notch controller, you can even go lower. Some players prefer axial at 4, but my sweet spot is 6. Moving on to the right stick, it's almost identical. Center dead zone 2, axial dead zone 6, but the max input threshold we're keeping at 100 this time. For aiming with the right stick, you want the entire stick range. Keeping the threshold at 100 lets you make micro adjustments precisely without losing control at long range. Put all of those controller settings together and you've got what I would call the ultimate controller setup. But wait, there's still one more thing that you need to know. When you go into edit settings, everything I've just shown you is correct. But underneath infantry, you'll also see ground vehicles, transport vehicles, aircraft, helicopter, gunner. Here's the catch. There's currently a bug in the beta where these categories don't always inherit your infantry settings, so you need to check them one by one. For me, the only one I had to fix was transport vehicles. I went into modify and set vehicle aim sensitivity to 40, vehicle third person field of view to 83, vehicle aim input curve to BF1, BF4, vehicle stick input acceleration presets, BF1, aiming left right acceleration 70, vertical aim ratio 56, zoom sensitivity coefficient 178. Once I saved that, everything else, ground vehicles, aircraft, helicopter, gunner, already had the correct values. That might not be the case for you. Yours may reset differently, and you might have to fix each one individually. If so, just pause the video, copy my settings exactly, and you'll be covered. Once you've done that, you're officially finished with the controller section. Mouse and keyboard, not applicable for me. I'm a controller. If you are on mouse and keyboard, these settings will vary depending on your mouse DPI, polling rate, and your preferred keybind layout. My advice? Play around with them and find what feels natural for you. Now we're in the graphics settings. If you're on PC, you'll see a lot more here. But even if you're on console, these settings are still really important. Performance preset, change this to custom. We do this in basically every game because it gives us full control over each setting. If you've seen my Arma Reforger best settings video, you'll know I went deep into every single setting there. I'm not going to go that deep here because I don't want this video to drag on forever, but I'll still explain what to change for different rigs. And for graphics quality, again, custom. And then we go down to graphics and we go into modify. Graphics quality, this is already set to custom, so that's good. Texture quality, we put this on high, keeps everything sharp and detailed, especially on weapons and gear. Texture filtering, high, makes surfaces and ground textures look clean instead of smudgy. Mesh quality, I have this set to high. It makes the buildings pop and models keep the detail at distance. Ultra really isn't needed, it's overkill. Terrain quality, high, smoother landscapes, less blocky background. Now the undergrowth quality, this is the first one that I set to low. Even on a high-end rig, grass and bushes look fine on low. Save yourself a few frames here. Effects quality, this is also low. Explosions and smoke don't need to look like Hollywood. We're here to shoot, we're not here to watch fireworks. With the volumetric quality, I do keep on high. This handles fog, mist, smoke in the air. It makes the game look alive without costing too much performance. Lighting quality, low. You don't need it, turning it up just eats frames. Local and light shadow quality, we also put on low. Small shadows just aren't worth your FPS. Sun shadow quality, we have this to medium because it balances visibility with performance. High isn't needed though. Shadow filtering, when I tested these, PCF and PCSS look extremely similar, but PCF runs slightly smoother, so that's my choice here. Reflection quality, medium, good balance between visuals and frames. Screen space reflections, off. I always say to turn this off in any multiplayer. All it does is mirror shiny surfaces and tank performance, and in a fast-paced game, you won't even notice it anywhere. Post-process quality, high. Keeps effects like bloom and colour grading look polished without overkill. Screen space AO and GI, off. These are fancy lighting tricks that drain frames, turn them off. Finally, high fidelity objects amount. I keep this to medium. You'll still get plenty of detail, but it won't overload your system with tiny props. Now, these are the settings I'd recommend if you're on a medium to high-end PC. But if you're running a low-end rig, I've got you covered too. Here's what I'd suggest instead. Feel free to pause the video and copy them over. Back into the graphics tab, and this time it's brightness. The game defaults to 50, but I bumped mine up to 65. That's my sweet spot. At 65, I can see enemies hiding in dark corners without the screen looking blown out or blinded. Anything higher just starts to wash things out, and anything lower means you're basically playing hide and seek in the shadows. Sharpness is okay. If we go down to advanced and click modify. Resolution scale, keep this locked at 100. It matches your monitor's native resolution. Mine's 4K, and lowering it just makes the game look like you're playing through a glass of milk. Only drop this if you're truly desperate. Frame rate limit, I've got mine set to on, and then the actual frame rate limit, I've set mine to 140. Since that matches my monitor's refresh rate. As a rule of thumb, set it around 20 to 30 FPS below what you consistently get in game. That way your performance stays stable without big spikes and dips. Dynamic resolution, off. Don't let the game change sharpness mid-fight. NVIDIA Reflex low latency, I have enabled plus boost. It's a must-have for responsiveness. The only exception, if you're on a really low-end rig that's already struggling, then keep this off. It'll just make things worse. Anti-aliasing, I select TAA. It's the cleanest balance of sharp edges and good performance. Upscaling technique, off. You don't need this if you're at 100% scale. Okay, trigger alert, NVIDIA frame generation, off. Yes, it gives you, and I'm doing quotation fingers, extra frames, but they're fake frames. Chasing those is like padding your gym numbers with half reps. It looks good, feels good, but it isn't real. I'd rather play on my actual frames and it be consistent and clean. Future frame rendering, off. Keeps input sharp, no delay. And performance overlay, I leave this off since I already used MSI Afterburner and Reaver Tuner while I was testing this game. And I do have a tiny FPS counter actually on my monitor in the corner of the screen. But if you don't run those, maybe set it to simple. It's a nice little performance readout without your screen looking like a NASA telemetry. And if we go back, camera settings, and the first one is field of view. I play on a 28-inch monitor sitting around 30 centimeters away. And for me, the sweet spot is 110 FOV. There are calculators online you can use if you want to get super precise about what works for you. But honestly, for this game, I'd 100% recommend sticking it around 110. And just to be clear, this is the horizontal FOV, not vertical. For vehicles, I crank the FOV all the way up to 83. The wider the view, the better your awareness. There's no point in driving around in a tunnel vision box. For weapon FOV, I set mine to wide. It makes the gun look smaller on screen, which means more visibility around you, and more visibility means more kills. Motion blur off, weapon blur off. Vignetti? Is it French? Vignette? I don't even know how to say this. Someone please drop it in the comments and let me know so I stop embarrassing myself. And of course, film grain, also off. And the big one, VSync, always off. It will add input lag, guaranteed. And the last thing you want in Battlefield is your game feeling like it's a half step behind you. Now let's head into icons and indicators, then hit modify under crosshairs and indicators. The first thing I change is the crosshair color. I set mine to a clean ice blue. The default white is washed out. It blends into the sky, walls, and even some uniforms. This blue pops beautifully against every background. And once you switch, you'll wonder how you ever played without it. You can tweak crosshair thickness if you want, but I keep mine on default, simple, clean, reliable. And here's the most important setting in this menu, infantry crosshair projection. Turn this off. With it on, the crosshair shifts around like a real gun barrel IRL. Sounds immersive, but in practice, it throws off your accuracy, and it can even make some players feel motion sick. Off means the crosshair stays locked to the dead center of your monitor at all times. This gives you maximum consistency, maximum accuracy, exactly what you need in a Battlefield 6 gunfight. Next, scroll down to the hit indicator section. The only thing I've really changed here is the headshot color. By default, it's white, same as the body shots. I switch mine to bright yellow, that way body shots stay white, but the second I land a headshot, it lights up yellow. Makes it super easy to track if my aim is too low and needs to climb up. The kill colour I also tweaked. It's still red, but I made it a much more vibrant red so it stands out instantly. There are tons of other settings buried in here, but that's one of the quirks of Battlefield. Full of settings inside settings inside settings. It's powerful, but it can be awkward to navigate. That's exactly why I'm making this video for you. You can dial things in without digging around blindly. And I will be writing all of these settings up and sharing them on my Discord. So if you're into tactical shooters, looking for people to squad up with, or you just want to stay updated on games like Arma, Ready or Not, Battlefield, COD, the invite link's in the description. Down in the audio settings, you'll see I've not really changed anything. The music volume is on 0, but that's just because I'm recording this for you. And if you see in the top right hand corner, currently I'm level 8. That's because I started a brand new account after running into some crashes on the Steam version. A mate told me to try out the EA launcher instead. Said he'd never crashed once, and so far, he's right. I've only done about 2.5 to 3 hours, but so far, 0 crashes. I can't promise it's a magic fix, but based on experience, maybe it's solid. And that is every setting that I change. This is the ultimate Battlefield 6 beta setup guide. It's built from 5 solid days of testing, data, and digging through every hidden menu this game has to offer. If you found this useful, make sure you send it to your friends, and let's dominate every last bit of this beta before it's gone. I'll upload a new full settings guide upon release. Oh, and YouTube thinks you should watch this video next. Train hard, raid harder.